this basic web page that I want to convert into a database-driven website that allows me to select multiple products from a database and display them in a table. And when I click the link to the right, that'll take me to a page that shows me details for that specific project or product. So let's open the basic web page in Eclipse. You'll see I have a simple HTML page. I'm including a header, a menu, and a footer in the page. I'm using PHP so that I actually have a website that looks is in the same format as the rest of my site. So here I have the table, which is showing my products, and this is the one product that I currently have in my table. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to use PHP to write out multiple products and then to create a link that will pass a parameter. So first let me create my PHP tags. And I'm going to just put them right now around my row that I want to write out. And then I'm actually going to add another PHP require statement. And I'm going to require, instead of the menu here, I'm going to write require db.inc, which is an include file that has my database connection, which will connect me to my products database. Once I've included that file, then I'm ready to write a query that will allow me to select data from that database. So my query, and I don't need the extra PHP on the front and the back. So my query is going to look something like this. $QURY. I'm going to select star from item, which is my table with my products in it, and I'm actually going to limit it to products in a specific product category. Once I've written my query, then I'm going to want to run that query against the database. So running that query against my database will look something like this. I'm going to go and create a results set variable called rs. I'm going to set it equal, and I'm going to use my database connection, which I can see variable, which is COONN in my db.inc file. I'm going to run the query that I just created, and if for some reason the query doesn't run, I'll get an error, and I'll display the error message associated with that query. Once I've run that query, I'm going to want to loop through all of the results from that query. So I'm going to use a while statement. Let's type that in. While I'm going to go, and essentially I'm going to store every row in a separate row, and I'm going to use fetch assoc. So essentially fetch an associative array containing all of the data in the given row that I'm looping through. So it's going to return the results as an associative array, and so then I'm going to want to, essentially this is my one row that I saved from before, and I'm going to want to echo each one of these rows. Now I've got, it automatically did quotes for me, so I want to get rid of the extra quote. So I'm going to echo each row. Like this. Now right now I haven't taken any of the data out of the rows, but I've got 4 items in my database. And I've forgotten semicolons on the end of my line, so let's put those in. Okay, so now I have a while loop, and I'm going to loop through the database rows, and I'm going to echo a row for each row in my database. If I hit save and I refresh, I've got a syntax error on line 24. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why would I have a syntax error on line 24? I have double quotes in here and inside my single quotes. So let's get rid of the double quotes and just put single quotes in there. There, now I think that it should run. So let's go back to my page, reload it. And so now you can see I actually have the same product shown 4 times. And that's because I didn't actually take any data out of my database. I just rewrote the same line for every line that it found in my database. So in order to actually get data from the database, I'm going to have to replace the stuff that's hard-coded. So in this case, I have the name of my image, which is in my database, and that happens to be so I go $row, and then I have to tell it which row. And my database image is in a cell in my database called item thumb. So that's going to take the thumbnail image out of the database and write it where I had the name of the image in my original code. And then I'm going to take out the words hiking shorts because I don't want that every single time. And so if I go like this and dot dot, and I'm going to use $row, and again I'm going to get my item name, which is the name of the column with my item name in it. If I save this and refresh it, I'm actually going to get the separate items, a different item for each thing, and I'm going to get the different image. Now, I haven't done anything with my link, so if I click the link right now, I just had a £sign hard-coded in for my link, and so my link takes me nowhere. So let's go and fix my links. So when I want, let me go back and look at this. When I want to go on each row, I want to go to a different page for each item in my database. So in this case, I have a variable that stores my item ID, which is called item ID. So let's go and replace this £sign in my link with the link to the actual file I want to link to. So I'm going to link to the details page, .php, and I'm going to pass a parameter, and that parameter is going to be I'm going to hard code in because this is all category 5, so I'm going to hard code in a variable, a parameter called cat, just so for the moment, and then I'm going to hard code in a second parameter that I'm going to get from my database. And so I'm going to put in a parameter, and I'm going to call that parameter item equals, and I want to pass in the item ID. So again, I'm going to need to end my string and put dots, and I'm going to get the item ID from the database. So I'm going to go $row, ITEM-ID, and if I save this, I'm going to refresh my page, and now if I highlight this, you'll see that at the bottom here that it says details.php category 5 item 1, item 2, item 3, and item 4. And so what I'm going to do, if I click item 2, for example, it should take me to my details page, which will show the details of my fleece pullover. If I click a different link, it will take me to the details page for that product. In the details page, I actually have to retrieve the parameter from the URL using the $_get to retrieve the parameter and then run the query using that parameter. And I'll show you how to do that in another video.